Hi, my name is Cyndy McDonald, and today I'm going to talk to you about writing the college essay. So this is part of our writing workshops that I do for students to help you be able to prepare and write the very best college essay that you can. The whole goal is to avoid the cookie cutter, what I call the essay or the McDonald essay. You want to create something that is unique and appropriate for you. So what does that look like? And what does that mean? So part one I'm going to talk about is just to help you set the stage and what the colleges are doing and what they're asking. So let's talk about the freshman mix. Colleges are trying to put together an incoming class, whether it's a freshman class or a transfer class, and they're trying to bring in lots of individuals that are bringing differences. They're creating an eclectic class. They don't want everybody to be the same because that would not enhance your educational experience and it would not enhance the community within the college. So they're looking for people who are going to bring in that diversity. What does diversity look like? It can be geographic from different areas of the country or the world, ethnic, race, religion, first generation, legacy. It can be things like your performing arts or athlete or things like that. You have things to bring to the campus. It can be your background as a low income or underrepresented student. And it can even be where you've grown up, whether you've been in an urban environment or a rural environment. So understanding this process of what colleges are going through, creating an incoming class, helps you to understand better what you can write about in your college essay. Also, oftentimes colleges are willing to offer scholarships to generate that right mix of diversity for the class. So the college essay provides a basis, especially now in an era of test optional and test blind. It becomes one of the key factors colleges use to identify that diversity. So your college essay provides the basis upon which the college admissions decision is often going to be made. It's not the only thing, so you don't have to obsess extensively about the college essay. They're still going to look at all parts of your application, but paying attention and giving some thought and preparation and being deliberate in your college essay is going to give you dividends. So a thoughtful, well-written essay can help pave the way for your admissions. So keep this in mind and take full advantage of this opportunity that the college essay offers you. So that's what we're going to talk about. The college essay is, as I mentioned, your opportunity, and it's the place where you can control what you're telling the colleges. And it's the only place where you have total control. Your grades are what they are, your test scores are what they are, your counselor and your teachers are going to do their own recommendations. But in the essay, you are able to tell the colleges exactly what you want them to know about you and really share something, insights, and dig deep and think about who you are. So it's the only place you have total control over what goes into that part of the application. So that's why we do these writing workshops, in order to give you the opportunity to use this wisely. What do the colleges want to see? In there, as they're looking at putting together their admissions class, they want to see a cohesive application. They want to see some rhythm and consistency. They want to see that activities are connected. If you said you've been in band and then you're going to major in music, then that makes sense. If you've said you've been in a sport or done journalism or student government or whatever it is, and then you connect that to something you write about or classes you've taken, you want to major in environmental science, you've been in the environmental science club, they want to see things are connected. Same thing with classes, activities, what kind of community involvement you've done, and they want special circumstances explained because nobody's going to know the special circumstances that you've experienced better than you. Your counselor, your teachers, no one else is going to know that. And so the only way they're going to be able to hear that is if it comes from you. So that's part of your cohesive application. Also, they often will look at applications and sometimes have a question. Maybe there's unusual circumstances. Maybe you've moved high schools quite frequently. They'll want to know why. Maybe you had a drop in your grades because you had an injury or you got ill or a family member, you had a family crisis. So they'll want to know about those unexplained circumstances. And if there's missing information, you didn't take a particular class or test or weren't involved in a certain activity, then they'll want to know why too. So that missing information becomes a key to the whole picture of who you are and what you have to offer. So one of the things you want to do is use your essay to elaborate, expand on things, or to fill in the gaps. Here's the question that may come up because you want to give them an answer. If you don't give them an answer, they're going to come up with their own answer, and you may not like the answer they come up with. So make sure you fill those gaps in or elaborate. So what you're going to do on your college essay is tell a good story in your own voice. And this is crucial. Not your mom's voice, not your dad's voice, not your big brother's voice. It's your voice. They can tell, college admissions can tell right away whether you're writing from your own perspective as a 17 or 18-year-old, or this is coming from somebody who's 45 and a professional. And so make sure this is coming from you and not someone else, not your English teacher. It's coming from you. This is not an essay from your English class. You don't need to use a lot of thesaurus words, SAT words in your essay. The simpler, the shorter the sentences you use, the more direct language you use, the more impactful your essay is going to be. So it's not an academic writing, it's a persuasive essay. You want to engage your reader. You want to talk about experiences. You want to bring them in and help them to see what happened to you and why it matters to you and how it's going to help you be able to contribute to that college environment. And you can use humor, but you have to use it sparingly. Sometimes it's what we think is funny may not be funny to somebody else. And sometimes it might even be offensive. So I often caution students to be careful with the humor because sometimes it can backfire and that's not what you want. So you want to own your own personal story. You have a personal story, a college essay that can only come from you. And so you want to be able to think about, and we're going to do some brainstorming and things like that so that you can identify and uncover some of those things. You also need to think about what you have to contribute to the college. You may have had an experience, say you had an experience with your dog when you were 8 years old. It was very traumatic and it had a great impact on you. But does that connect to who you are and what you're doing in college? You always have to think about what is that going to, how am I going to contribute to the college? What do I have to bring? How am I going to make up that eclectic class? And then you also want to make your passion shine through your writing. They don't want somebody who's stilted and very robotic. They want somebody who's passionate, and that's why you use action words and you use short sentences and action-packed adjectives, things like that. All right, so first step in trying to think about your college essay is doing some brainstorming, and we'll go through some brainstorming activity. The two things you want to look for as we're going through this brainstorming is we're going to talk about values and what is important to you. And so thinking about from, is family, is curiosity, is adventure, is honesty, those are all different things. And there are lots of activities and lots of resources that can help you identify what your values are. And we have an activity and I will go through that with you. But brainstorming is a key part. The second part is just doing free writing. Doesn't really matter what the essay prompts are at this point. I just want you to get comfortable with writing. And so we're going to do some free writing exercises that I have. Most of these come from the college essay guy, Ethan Sawyer from Los Angeles. And it just gives you an opportunity to just write and think about things that kind of think outside the box. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Once we've done that, then we'll go into part 2, which is finding your essay topic. And your essay topic, a lot of times, if you just sat down and said, I value family, it's really hard to just write about a value from a value perspective. But you've all had experiences in life. So if we look and find some of those experiences, then those can become you can write about those and use those to demonstrate your values. So we're going to focus on finding and identifying and just exploring some of those experiences, because we all have experiences in life. And again, they don't have to be big monumental experiences. You don't have to find the cure for cancer or, have founded a foundation or anything. It can be as simple as going back and forth to school every day. I've had students write essays on their commute from home to school and what that was like. So it doesn't have to be a monumental experience. It can be something very simple, but you all have experiences. And most of the time you're going to have multiple essays to write. It's not just one. There are going to be several different essays for different kinds of colleges. It depends on the colleges, whether you're applying to Common App schools, the colleges themselves, University of California, other university systems. So plan that you're going to be writing more than one. So, and again, remember, you want to make your application cohesive. You want parts of it to resonate. If you write about something, an activity in your activities list, but don't mention it in your essay, the colleges may think, well, that's not as important to you as whatever it is that you write about in your essay. So the goal is to make your application cohesive. And you don't want to write, because you're writing multiple essays, you don't want to write everything about playing softball or football or, whatever. So you want to explore, and I help you explore different areas in your life to write about. So those are your personal experiences. So think about your personal experience in a quad. This is my experience as quad. And you all have had classes. You can think about experiences in different classes you liked, didn't like, appreciated, didn't appreciate, things like that. Then you also have extracurricular activities, whether they're in school or outside of school. Those create the other opportunities that you've had. Some students have more, some have less. We've had more over the last couple of years. We've had less over the last couple of years because of COVID, and that's okay. Colleges know that. The third area is community and activities. So volunteer leadership, things that you've done in the community. And that's an important aspect to think about. And again, it doesn't have to be formal or organized. If you just keep things picked up in your neighborhood or organize the neighborhood activity to clean up a lot so the kids can play ball, those kinds of things count. And then the last area is personal and family. We all have come from our roots and our backgrounds. What does that look like? Do you have a multiracial background? Do you have a multilingual background? Different values or cultural, events, things like that. So all of these things make up who you are. And this is your experiences quad. So what you'll end up doing is writing down experiences in all 4 of these areas. And then that gives you things that you can write about in your multiple college essays. And so this will help you to be able to see you have lots to write about. And we do this before we even look at a college prompt, because once you know who you are and what you have to contribute, then you'll be able to identify which of these 4 areas will fit into those college essay prompts. So I've done this for many years, and I can tell you this works really, really well. So what about finding your story? This is adapted from Ethan Sawyer's Using the Secrets of Screenwriting to Write Your College Essay. And he talks about how people have basically fallen into two categories. Either you've faced significant challenges or you have not. Either you know what you want to major in or you do not. And either one, any of those are fine. There's nothing, everybody comes from lots of those different things, and there's no plus or minus to anyone having any of those or not having. But just identifying kind of where you fall can help you narrow the scope of your story. So as you look at this, you can say, am I A, face significant challenges and have a major area of study in mind, or B, I've not faced significant challenges, but I still know what I want to major in or study. Or C, I've faced significant challenges and I have no clue about what I want to study. I haven't faced significant challenge and I'm still have no clue about what I want to study. So you fall into one of these four categories. Either you have it or not, and that's perfectly fine, but it helps you to narrow down your choice. So once you've identified all your different areas, especially in your experience quadrant, you should have 4 to 6 categories just in a bullet point in one of those 4 areas. And which of these categories you fall, A, B, C, or D, then it's time to start composing your college essays. And that is part 3. One of the things is you're writing your essays. And again, we'll do some free writes. I'm still not ready to give you prompts. We're going to do some different activities. And once I give you the prompts, though, as you write, you pick an experience and you're going to write about it. Avoid cliches in your writing. You know, a great sport one is it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. And that is such a cliche. You need to dig deeper and learn how to be a team player by being on XYZ team. Again, you have to dig deeper. I want to be a doctor because I want to help people. Again, college people hear this all the time. So you want to avoid that cliche. You want to dig deeper. I want to learn how to help people as a neurosurgeon because I love and fascinated with the brain, and I want to be able to help contribute to the research on Alzheimer's. So you want to be able to dig deeper and talk about what it is that you want to do. Or I have a dream. Again, that's commendable, but you have to go a little deeper. Don't just leave it at that, because then that just becomes shallow and it doesn't come across as genuine or authentic. Don't repeat yourself. One of the biggest challenges and one of the biggest mistakes that I see students do is they're very good. You guys are very good at writing BS. You write college essay, high school essays for your English teacher, and you know how to create a paragraph and create that 5 paragraph and just talk about the same thing in 3 different ways. That doesn't fly on a college essay. So if you want to say one thing once, and then move on. So don't repeat yourself, and I will call you on it. Use the college essay to explain what an admissions office doesn't know from your application. Again, going to that cohesiveness and helping them know what you're going to bring to the college. Give them the opportunity to give more insight into parts listed on your application. And again, use the college essay to answer questions raised by parts of your application. Here are in conclusion, here are some do's and don'ts for your college essay. Don't write what you think others want to read. Don't write what you think the college admissions people want to see. The minute you start writing from that perspective, you've already failed. It's not what they want to know in terms of something they think they want to see. It's what you want to write. You don't want to try to exaggerate or try to impress them. Just being who you are is going to be what they're looking for. And it's going to have much more power and convey a meaning so much more strongly. Don't use flowery or pretentious language. You actually lose impact. Use straight action words. And be careful with, I hope to feel that I can love this major that I'm looking at possibly studying. I want to study environmental science. I want to be the person that does this. Use action words and don't equivocate. Be strong and be dedicated and just an advocate, as you write. So that's important, but you can't neglect the technical parts. You do have to have paragraphs. You do have to have grammar. They're not checking you for grammar or things like that, but at least it does need to be something that's easily read and easily consumed. So a complicated poem or a rap or something like that, whereas it might be very creative, might not have the impact that you're looking for. So be careful and try doing things that are very, very unique or original. Run them by me, run them by a counselor, run them by someone, and don't ramble. The colleges, they don't have time. They don't necessarily need, if they give you 500 words, they don't require you to fill all 500. They just don't want you to go over that number. If you can say it in 250 or 300 words, that is perfectly fine because it's less that they have to read. So say what you have to say, communicate your message and leave it. You don't have to ramble. What you do want to do is write about what you know. Reveal yourself in your writing, and you want to show rather than tell. You want, as I mentioned earlier, if you've got an experience, use that experience to show your values, show your standards, show what happened and why it mattered and what you did next. So show rather than tell. You want to write in your own voice and style. And very important, you want to write your own essay. I mentioned this is not from a 40-year-old. This is not from your English teacher's perspective. This is your essay. So we're very adamant about having the essays written by you, the student. So if you have any questions or anything comes up, you can email me and I will help you with this. Please be sure to attend the writing workshop and we will work on your college essays together.